Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachak with us. Double honors unto the elders of Oscar Millstone, the elders of Great Millstone Intercourse. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serve him in truth and sincerity. Yes, on the brother Chayaba from Z-Man's Plain Devil's Camp. Come back with another lesson to his spirit. Yes, this lesson be based off of while the world is continuing to talk about negotiations, ceasefires, and keeping shipping lanes open, Hormuz, so on and so forth. Well, the scriptures tell us how we are still in a time of war and rumors wars, distressing nations, and war being prepared. So to start it off, it says Matthew chapter 24, 6 through 8. And you should hear wars, rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So yeah, all the news that we see across the internet is not just random. No, Yahushua spoke about these things. Yahushua spoke about wars and rumors of wars. So when we go into Iran, Israel, the U.S., Lebanon, Hezbollah, it all fits prophecy. Let's go ahead and get that word for wars within the Greek. So the Greek word is polemos. It says, a war, a fight, a battle, a dispute, a strife, a quarrel. So it says warfare. So we are in those times of war. Getting the word for rumor within the Greek, rumors. It says akoe. It says a sense of hearing, hearsay, report, or rumor. So a lot of reports on war, of course. So that's what we're getting. So of course, all the articles we're seeing right now are going into wars and rumors wars. But we're not at the final point where War 3 is about to kick off. We're still waiting for the implementation of the Mark of the Beast. Until that happens, War 3 won't happen. We understand that the implementation of the Mark of the Beast is very, very close. But once again, Yahushua told us not to be troubled. Obviously, we still have to watch according to prophecy. So getting to the article, it says Vance hails a very good day of U.S.-Iran negotiations. It says U.S. Vice President says Tehran agreed to admit UN nuclear inspectors and that progress was made in talks to end the Israel-Hezbollah fighting in southern Lebanon. So it says, here's the latest. Nuclear monitoring. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance touted a very, very good day of negotiations Sunday between the U.S. and Iran and denied that bombastic statements from President Donald Trump upended negotiations. Iran has agreed to admit nuclear monitors into the country, Vance added. So I'm getting other articles. Talks are being made for a ceasefire deal. So while all this is happening, ceasefire deals in basically all these talks between these other nations of peace, what the other side is that war is still being brewed up. Let's get 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, the sudden destruction cometh upon them, as shall upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So peace talk or ceasefire deals does not mean that peace is coming. The scripture right here says peace and safety. Getting the word for peace within the Greek. It says irene. It says a state of national tranquility, exemption from the rage and havoc of war. Peace between individuals, i.e. harmony, concord. The point is that it's not going to happen. So that's the key point. Exemption from the rage and havoc of war. So what, ceasefire deals, peace being made, it's not going to happen. It says, and safety. The Greek word is asphaleia. It says firmness, stability, certainty that the war won't happen. That's what they're saying. Undoubted truth, security from enemies and danger, safety. So to read it again, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So even though they say peace and safety, war won't happen. The conflict between these other nations will stop. As it says, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So we already know what to expect. The ones who the Lord has chosen won't be deceived by, once again, these talks of peace and safety, because we know that sudden destruction cometh upon them. The point is that what Yahweh Bashim Yeshua has spoken will not stop. So when they speak about ceasefires, a roadmap to peace, keeping Hormuz open, all of that is the language of peace and safety. The prophecy already says that sudden destruction is coming. Hence, we know what to expect. It says Joel chapter 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Be your plowshares and the swords, and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So even while they negotiate, America, Iran, Israel, so on and so forth, war is still being prepared. Just because we see talks of peace and ceasefires does not mean that war being prepared is going to stop. No, war is still being prepared. The production of the nuclear missiles aren't going to stop. They're only going to increase, even though these talks of peace are happening. Getting that word for prepare within Hebrew. Hebrew word is kodash, meaning to consecrate, sanctify. It says prepare, dedicate, be hallowed. So war is being dedicated and prepared. It says Luke 21:25. Start at verse 25. It says, and there should be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth the distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and looking after those things which are coming on earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. So the point is that right now the world is in a state of distress, and it's going to continue to get worse. What it says with perplexity. Getting that word for perplexity, the Greek word is aporia, or it says aporia, a state of quandary. So, it says a state of uncertainty, confusion, or difficulty in deciding what to do. In a situation in which a person feels perplexed or trapped between choices. So, we clearly see that among these other nations. A state of uncertainty and confusion. Constant talks, meetings of what they're going to do. It says, or difficulty in deciding what to do. Right now we see the talks of peace and avoiding what's already prophecy, which is sudden destruction. It won't happen. As the scripture says, they shall not escape. So with all of the conflicts and the things that Yahushua spoke about within Matthew chapter 24, 6 through 8, wars, rumors, wars, famines, pestilences, earthquakes, the nations are in a state of perplexity and distress, and it's only going to get worse. So Yahushua says, in red letter, Yahushua is saying this, and when these things begin to come to pass, and look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. This isn't for our panic. The heathen are in a state of panic. We have these words as comfort. The elect of the nation of Israel will have these words of comfort. The prophecies, what's already written concerning the deliverance and protection of the nation of Israel. And what's already written, we already know what's going to come to pass, which is the Lord protecting his elect. And what? It says redemption draweth nigh. So we know what to expect. The Lord has already given us a prophecy. So what we're seeing and looking up to the scriptures, we're measuring the times. It's for what? Linking these things up to the scriptures. We're measuring the times that we are in. So that's the point. Matthew chapter 24 shows us why we are seeing these wars, rumors, wars. It's already prophesied. So we're not ignorant of it. We read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, going into peace and safety. So just because we see peace and safety does not mean that it's actually coming. It does not mean that it's actually coming. Sudden destruction is coming, as scripture says. We read Joel chapter 3 and Luke chapter 21. So even though peace and all these diplomatic talks are happening, war is still being prepared. While the nations are in a state of perplexity and distress. Once again, these things will only increase. So these articles are just small links, but what the foundation is what's already written in the scriptures. We pull certain things out of these articles to link what's already prophesied. So once again, the foundation is what's already written. So we bring it out, of course. So Lord's Zoe brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Bashpakakurash Brakathom. Shalom.